Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man was released in 2002 and it's directed by Sam Raimi and stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten, Dunst, James Franco, with J.K. Simmons and Willem, Dafoe. And basically, done already, the film tells the story of Peter Parker, played by Tobey Maguire in the film, who has this crush on a girl called Mary Jane, who goes to the same school as him, and Mary Jane is played by Kirsten Dunst in this film. And at the same time, though, he also gets bitten by a radioactive spider, which leads him to become Spider-Man. And at the same time, though, in this film, we also get the introduction to Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, as we actually see Norman Osborn, played by Willem Dafoe in the film, become the Green Goblin and start terrorizing New York. So, as you might have guessed already, Spider-Man has to stop the Green Goblin before it's too late. And as you can imagine, a lot of complications occur to Peter Parker as he tries to be Spider-Man and help save New York before it's too late. And that's basically the plot of Spider-Man. And honestly, I enjoyed this film so much. Because honestly, I had watched this film once before, a long time ago, like a very long time ago, back when I was like 5 or something. And so when I went to go and watch the film last night, I was watching it for the first time in a very long while. And honestly, I was surprised by how much I really enjoyed this film and how much I really liked it. The one thing I absolutely love about this film is the fact that it's so well directed. It feels like a director's vision being realised in the best way possible. You know, because so many MCU movies nowadays just feel like they're the studio putting out a film. It doesn't really feel like a director's vision, in my opinion. I mean, it can do sometimes with the Guardians of the Galaxy films. They're clearly James Gunn films. But the thing is, though, there's quite a lot of, you know, MCU films nowadays, like the Captain America films, where honestly, for me, it just feels like the studio's putting out a film. But the thing is, with Spider-Man, oh my god, it felt like it was a director realising his vision. It felt like this was Sam Raimi's vision of Spider-Man, and he was realising it in the best way possible. And at the same time, though, same on the topic of that direction of distinctiveness, one thing I absolutely loved about this film is the horror sequences in there. There's a couple of horror sequences in the film which I just didn't expect. Like, Sam Raimi had actually previously directed the Evil Dead films beforehand and some other horror films as well, and you can clearly tell in some sequences in this film, particularly in the sequence where Norman Osborn becomes the Green Goblin. There's a couple of jump scares and I was like, yes, this is what I want from a Spider-Man film. Honestly, I just love the direction of distinctiveness of this film, especially when so many times nowadays you get films like Ant-Man and, you know, Captain America and so on and so on and so on, where it just feels like the studio putting out a film and it doesn't really have, you know, the director's stamp on it. I mean, it can in the MCU, but more often than not, it doesn't. But the thing is, with this film, you can clearly tell that it's a director's vision being realised in the best way possible. And I love that about this film. At the same time, though, I also really enjoy the performance in the film. I think Tobey Maguire is a great Peter Parker. I mean, I must admit, I do prefer Tom Holland, because I think Tom Holland has a bit more energy than Tobey Maguire, but I still enjoyed Tobey Maguire in this film quite a lot. I think he did a good job playing Peter Parker, and I really enjoyed his take on that character. And at the same time, I also seen how Spider-Man became Spider-Man, because like I said, I haven't seen the film in a very long time. I've seen Homecoming and I've seen Far From Home, you know, the 2 recent Spider-Man films from the MCU. But things like, you know, Homecoming and Far From Home, as enjoyable as they are, I quite like those films. As enjoyable as they are, you don't actually see the origin story of Spider-Man. And you see him in this film, and I just love that it's on the origin story in the best way possible. And at the same time, though, this might be a controversial opinion, but I liked Kirsten Dunst as, you know, Mary Jane, the love interest in the film. I kind of liked that. I thought she was good in the film. I mean, by no means is she brilliant, that's what I'm saying. I just didn't mind this film. I kind of liked her, actually. I thought she did good with the role she was given. And at the same time, though, I also really like the storyline to do with James Franco. I love that James Franco's character, you know, Harry Osborn, is Peter Parker's best friend. And by the way, I should say here, I haven't said actually in this review yet, but I'm someone who doesn't have any personal connection to Spider-Man or the comic books at all. So I was watching this for the first time, getting used to the characters, you know. I don't really know these characters, I must admit. So it's kind of interesting watching this film for the first time, especially when you're watching the storyline to do with James Franco. Because the whole storyline to do with James Franco is he's Harry Osborn. You know, he's the son of Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. But the thing is, though, Harry Osborn is also best friends with Peter Parker, and you know, Peter Parker is also Spider-Man. So Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is trying to defeat the Green Goblin, so he's trying to defeat his best friend's dad. And I just love that whole story. Harry Osborn doesn't realise that his best friend is trying to kill his dad. I love that storyline in the film. I thought that was so unique. Like, another thing that I really enjoyed about this film was seeing J.K. Simmons in there. I mean, J.K. Simmons is only like 2 scenes in the film, but he's chewing up the scenery in the best way possible. Quite literally, in the best way possible. Like, I've seen so many memes with J.K. Simmons from the film, and then I just watched him in the film, and I just absolutely loved him when he popped up in it. I love J.K. Simmons in the film, and at the same time, though, I love Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. I thought that was great. I love how he played that character, you know, Spider-Man! That was my impression of Green Goblin. It was quite a bad impression, actually, but I really enjoyed his performance as the Green Goblin in the film. I love how he played that character. He was really good in the film, and I thought casting Willem Dafoe was brilliant. I love him as a Green Goblin, And on the topic of the Green Goblin, one thing I really liked about the film, which is only like a small detail about the film, one thing I really liked was the use of the colour green in this film. This film uses the colour green a lot. It keeps using the colour green a lot, and that's because obviously the Green Goblin and everything. And I just love small details like that. The colour green is so prominent, it just throughout the whole of the film, and I just love that about this film. Just small details like that, which Sam Raimi put into the film. Just, you know, putting green in so many scenes, you know, foreshadowing the whole thing to do with Green Goblin. I just love that about this film. At the same time though, I also love Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme. I just think it's absolutely brilliant, especially when you see Spider-Man swinging from building to building. It just had that brilliant musical score going on in the background from Danny Elfman, and it just works so well in the film. Honestly, I just enjoyed it so much. If I was going to have any criticisms of this film, and I do have some very small criticisms, I must admit, if I was going to have any criticisms of this film, sometimes the way the plot moves forward are a bit iffy, I must admit. And at the same time though, some of the CGI in the film is about outdated. Bear in mind, this film was made in 2002, and since then we've had how many MCU films? Like 20 odd, where the CGI is actually quite impressive. And the thing is though, when you watch this film like nowadays, you realise, okay, the CGI is a tad bit outdated. But saying that though, it didn't hugely bother me when I was watching the film. But if I look back at it now, I will say that some of the CGI, particularly with the Green Goblin, when you see him swishing about on his like hoverboard thing, when you see him swishing about on his hoverboard, some of the CGI is a tad bit outdated. But apart from that though, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was probably the best Spider-Man film I have seen yet. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man Far From Home. But the thing is though, those films are really enjoyable in my opinion. This film just did something more for me that I was a bit more than enjoyable. I really got to grips with the characters. I really liked their stories. I mean, I thought this was the best Spider-Man film I've seen so far, and I'll just say, I don't remember much about Spider-Man 2. And quite a lot of people say that Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man film they've ever seen. I mean, quite a lot of people actually say that Spider-Man 2 is one of the best comic book movies ever made. I must admit, I have seen Spider-Man 2, but a very long time ago. Like this movie. I think I watched this movie when I was like 5, and I think I watched Spider-Man 2 when I was like 5 as well. So, I haven't watched Spider-Man 2 in a very long time, but when I do, I will be giving a review of that film. But for now, honestly, having just watched this film for the first time in a very long time, I would say that this is the best Spider-Man film I've seen so far. I enjoyed it so much. I loved the villain in this film. I thought it was far superior than Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming and Mysterio from Spider-Man Far From Home, although I did enjoy those villains. I thought Willem Dafoe's performance as the Green Goblin was so much better, and I loved the whole character of the Green Goblin. I loved the whole, dual personalities going on with that character, and at the same time though, one thing I almost got to mention is the coming of age through with this film, which I really like about it. Honestly, I just found this film really enjoyable, and I really liked it. Is it one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen? No. And at the same time though, is it the best Spider-Man film I've seen? Yes, so far I would say. Honestly, I really liked it. I love the direction of the film. I love the feel of it. I love the energy of the film, which I was going to mention. And at the same time though, I love the performances. I think everything great. And I just really like this film. And honestly, I definitely go watch it again. And I highly recommend it. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Spider-Man, I'm going to say that's an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I really enjoyed myself with this film. Is it a masterpiece and is it perfect? No, not in my opinion. But the thing is though, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a really fun and really energetic Spider-Man film, and that is what I'm going to take from it. I enjoyed myself so much with this film. I really liked all the performances. I thought I had a really good energy with it, and I thought I had a really good musical score by Danny Elfman, which worked really well in the film. And at the same time though, I loved the direction of distinctiveness of the film. That just worked for me so well. I just love the feel of the film. I love the energy. I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely go watch it again. And I liked it far more than I thought I was going to. It was one big pleasant surprise, and honestly, I had a huge grin on my face throughout most of the film when I was watching it last night. And so, all in all, I'm sorry for what I'm going to say, because I really wanted to enjoy this film, and you know what? I did so much. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Spider-Man is an 8 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Spider-Man? Please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video. I look forward to many more, both film and TV reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now. Bye!